Welcome to the Tax Sale Podcast, where tax sale investing is made easy. My name is Casey Denman. I'm a tax sale veteran. I'm the leading tax sale expert. I'm the author of the Tax Sale Playbook, founder of the Tax Sale Academy, and I am your host right here on the Tax Sale Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me on today's podcast episode. As a reminder, this is a completely free podcast. I don't charge a listening or membership fee or anything like that, but it's brought to you through and because of the Tax Sale Academy. So if you are looking to learn more about investing in tax liens and tax deeds, make sure you check us out at taxsaleacademy.com. All right, today I want to discuss something that I am frequently asked about, and that revolves around finding the best tax sale deals possible. Now, typically, these types of questions come in a variety of different forms. Maybe it's the person who is making $50,000 a year and they want to go to the next level, make $100,000 or $150,000 a year as a tax sale investor. Maybe it's the person looking for a marginally better return with what they're doing already. Maybe it's the brand new tax sale investor that is just frustrated they have not been able to purchase their first property yet. Whatever the case is, I want to provide you with 10 suggestions that will hopefully help out a variety of different investors that are at a point in their business where they're looking for better tax sale deals. So let's get right to it. The first one, be realistic. You know, there's a lot of misinformation about every single type of business out there that causes people to get involved with unrealistic expectations. It's very easy to see a new opportunity and automatically think the best case scenario, the fastest returns, the highest profits, the easiest path, and so forth. But oftentimes, and most of the time, it does not work out that way. One thing that I've tried incredibly hard to push over the last 11 or 12 years that I've been teaching others is to have realistic goals. You're not going to make $10,000 tomorrow. You're not going to make $1 million next week. If you're expecting to turn $1,000 into $100,000 in 30 days, your expectations are likely too high. If people tell you that you can turn $1,000 into $100,000 by the end of the month, you need to run the other way. That person is trying to scam you. Yes, tax sale investing is an incredible business. One that I'm possibly biased, of course, but one that I believe is the best business in the world. That's why I'm in it. But whether it's this business or any other business, it's very, very important that you have realistic expectations. Number two, along those same lines, and before we get into the more tactical approaches, my next suggestion is to have patience. Now, I did a video on this not too long ago, so I don't want to dive too far into this topic, but the best character trait that a tax sale investor can have is one of being patient. Tax sale investing is not gambling. It is not a business where you just go out and start buying properties and hope for the best. It's a business where you research and you strategize for the best course of action. Then you jump on the right opportunity when it comes along. But it does not going to come along every single day. Understand that. Be patient and remind yourself that constantly. Number three, change markets. Plenty of people get into this business with the expectation that their market is the best for them. And oftentimes, what I mean by their market is where they lived. But guess what? More often than not, their market is not going to be the best market for them. I have not invested in tax liens or tax deeds in my local market for years and years now. When I originally started, I did. But then I started to invest in another market and another market. And eventually I realized I was making far more money in markets that were not local to me, so I began to focus on those. We only have so much time that we can invest in this business, so you might as well turn your attention to the markets where you're getting the highest returns. If it's not working where you are at, change markets. Number four, another suggestion is not just to change markets, but to add markets. If you're investing in one market every single year, you have the potential to see success in one market every single year. And guess what? There's going to be a limit to the number of properties that are sold at that one single market. If you're investing in 10 markets, you're going to have a 10 times the chance of success as a tax sale investor. Different markets have different property types, different competition levels, and so much more. Don't be afraid to expand outside of your home county and even your home state. There are ways to do it correctly, of course, and you must know what you're doing. But expanding outside of my home state was likely the single biggest thing that I have done to grow my business exponentially over the years. Number 5, approach it as a numbers game. The more properties you research, the more properties you become interested in purchasing, the more properties you're going to have a shot at buying. It's as simple as that. You know, I tell the story in Tax Sale Playbook, but I remember I was at an auction and there was a list of properties and I had a number of properties I wanted, probably 24 properties I was interested in. And I waited and I waited and I didn't get a single property until the very last property. But I knew, even though I was interested in the very last property, it's going to sell for more than I wanted to pay. But I did the research anyhow. I went through the process anyhow. I approached it as a numbers game. I had all these properties I was interested in, and that final property, that 14-acre parcel, ended up being mine for $100. And again, I write about this story in Tax Sale Playbook. That's just a micro example of how the tax sale business is, in fact, a numbers game. Understand that one property, just one property, out of 100 that you're potentially interested in buying, or even just one property out of 1,000, has the potential to change your year, if not your life. You should not win every single property you're interested in. If you win every single property you set out to buy, you're probably paying too much money. But understand, it's a numbers game. Number 6, change product types. If you only want to invest in homes, consider lands. If you only invest in land, consider homes. There are pros and there are cons to every single class of real estate. There are also ways to make money in every single class of real estate. People tell me all the time that they're skipping all the vacant land on the tax sale list for this reason or that reason. And unfortunately, that's a very uneducated approach to this business. Unless you're buying specifically for long-term rental type investments, you should be able to analyze supply and demand. And if there's demand for the property type, buy it. Number 7, the next one is to learn how to be efficient. The problem that so many people face is they spend far too long researching 5, 6, 7 properties that they're interested in for an auction they're attending. And that auction might only be selling 5, 6, 7 properties. Then they get all worked up when those properties, the ones they spent so much time on, sell for too much money. The problem is not that those properties sell for too much money. The problem is that they invested way too much time in those properties. Yes, you absolutely need to know what you're investing in. You absolutely need to do the research, but you need also to learn how to do it efficiently. If you're efficient, you will automatically increase the time you have to research more properties, and subsequently, you'll increase the chance to buy even more properties, and in short, you'll make more money. Number 8, another suggestion is to browse OTC, or over-the-counter tax sale list. I just had a member email me a couple of days ago that told me he followed my advice and he made, I believe it was like $1,800 in a couple of weeks off of one property on an OTC list just to kind of test it out. This stuff works and you can do it at scale. You can take that same transaction type and multiply it by 10 or by 100. There's so many properties on these OTC lists. Now, there's obviously got to be strategy behind it. You obviously have to learn what you're doing, but OTC list can work when you know how to implement the correct strategy. Number 9, the next strategy is to take different angles. Just like changing markets, changing property types, take different angles towards your investments. You should not be trying to do what every single other person at the tax sale auction is doing. Because when you do that, when everybody's approaching the same property the same exact way, what do you have? You have a race to the bottom to see who is willing to accept the lowest profit for their time investment. That is not what I want. I want the highest amount of return for my time investment. So instead of buying that half-acre lot and valuing it at perhaps a half acre, maybe we can split it up and sell it as 2 quarter-acre lots. Maybe instead of marketing your properties like every other person out there, you create an entire internet marketing campaign or a social media campaign or a web-based campaign to sell your properties differently. Think outside of the box so you don't get trapped and pushed to the bottom with everybody else. Number 10, the last one today, and this one might come as a surprise to some of you. Learn more. You don't know it all. This isn't a business where you learn it one time and then you're done learning forever. I really get frustrated when people take that approach. Many of my Academy members are absolutely shocked that I am still creating brand new trainings after launching my Academy over a decade ago. Sure, the core principles, they're the same. Research for the most part is the same. There's a lot of strategies, a lot of suggestions that I've developed over the years, over these past 10 years since I launched it, simply because I took the time to continue to learn from a variety of different sources. Not only do things change over time, but your ability to learn new information and then apply it to your business needs to also change. I can't even begin to tell you how much information I've learned over the years from people that are outside of the tax sale space and even outside of the real estate industry completely that I've applied to my business that has increased my income. All because I've taken the commitment to heart when it comes to learning more on a daily basis. If you're just starting out, focus on learning all you can about the tax sale business. But eventually, once you feel confident, begin to study things like marketing, sales techniques, sales copy, trends, and anything else that you can then take and apply to your tax sale business, because that's what will help you grow it over the long term. Everybody wants to complain about how they went to 1 or 2 auctions and it's not working for them. Everyone wants to complain about how they've been in business for the past 10 years and they're doing everything the same exact way that they've always done, but it's not working well for them. Instead of complaining, work on finding a solution. The 10 suggestions that I went over today can certainly help you out, but in the end, there are dozens of other solutions available for anyone that wants to find the best tax deals possible. Stop complaining and start figuring out what changes you can apply to your own tax sale business so you can continue to grow it. I truly hope that this episode provided you with some valuable information when it comes to finding the best deals in the tax sale business. If this episode did help, or any of the episodes here on the Tax Sale Podcast have helped you out, please do me a huge favor and leave a positive review on whatever podcasting or video platform you're listening or watching us on right now. This podcast is completely free. Again, I don't charge a listening or membership fee for these podcast episodes, but your reviews really help us out, and they might even serve to pay it forward to somebody else who learns about this incredible business simply because you took the time to tap a 5-star review or leave a positive feedback comment. And as always, if we can be of any additional help, make sure you check out the Tax Sale Academy at taxsaleacademy.com. Hey, take care and make it a successful day. We'll see you next time right here on the Tax Sale Podcast. Bye-bye.